Hello, hello. We're doing fill patterns, so pen and ink fill patterns. I'm getting you caught up if you've not seen how to do these patterns. I have some videos that you can watch to learn how to do those. You can see if you just watched this video or if you've watched this recently, I completed it from the previous video. I'm going to show you now how to create this fill pattern right here today. So let's get started. So gonna work in this space that I've created. I've created on purpose so it's kind of, you can see what that odd edge might look like with that pattern. I'm going to start by turning my canvas because I'm going to draw some lines that are parallel. Find it's easier to pull the lines towards myself if I want to keep those lines relatively straight, although that is not a good example of relatively straight. I'm gonna try to space them evenly so that they have about the same amount of space between each set of lines. And again, I'm not measuring. If you were to come back, you would probably find that some of these are spaced a little bit differently. I'm going to turn my canvas again now because I'm going to draw some more lines that I'm pulling towards myself. I want to make some square spaces. So I'm just kind of eyeballing about how far apart these lines should be to make them squares. On the next set of parallel lines that I've got, I'm going to come in between the square or halfway across, and I'm going to draw more perpendicular lines, and I'm going to make those square spaces. I'll follow that pattern all the way across, just kind of thinking about how much space I would need if I was going to be drawing a square. So I've got one there. All right, so I've created my square spaces, and now I'm going to begin the fill pattern. This fill pattern, unlike this one here, is one where you kind of work box by box all the way across the piece. I find that's the easiest way to do it. So, and I also like I find it a little bit easier to draw them if they look like a square as opposed to a diamond shape, which that way it looks like. So I'm gonna start in this upper left corner, and I'm gonna draw a line that comes down just inside the corner that is below. And sometimes when I'm starting, I like to turn the whole piece of paper just to kind of visualize it and think about it. I'm going to follow this pattern all the way around. So I'm going to draw a line that comes just inside this next corner. And then the same thing up here, just inside this corner. And now I've got kind of a new corner here, but I'm going to draw just inside that corner. And if you look at it, it's not exactly perfect, but this is a new square shape that I've just created. So I'm going to follow that pattern all the way around, and basically these lines are going to spiral in to the center of the original box. So I'm following that from this corner. I'm going to the one below it, or the next one just inside that corner, all the way around. So just inside this corner, drawing that line up. My next corner, if I'm following the spiral around, is right here, so just inside there. You get to a point where you don't really need to turn the paper, where you can just kind of continue to draw your lines until you spiral into the middle. And that's pretty much it. I'll show you, I'll do another regular square, and then I'll show you how I go about doing these ones that are kind of on the edge that might seem a little bit tricky. So just inside the corner, here's if I follow in this circle around, I guess that's counterclockwise motion, then I'm going to come just inside this corner. Just inside this corner. All the way around. That's pretty much it. For these other ones, so I've got a couple of squares here that are kind of on the edge. What I always talk about when I'm explaining how to do this is imagine that you have the rest of this square. And if it's helpful to draw with a pencil lightly that little bit of square, then you should definitely do that, because that's important to being successful, especially when you're just starting with this. So you can see I've imagined that those squares are there, and then I'm just gonna follow the rules. So just inside this corner, I'm imagining my line's gonna stop here at the edge, but I'm imagining that it goes all the way to just inside that corner. I'm gonna imagine that I'm drawing the next one, and then that helps me to see where this next line should come in. So just inside this corner. And then I'm gonna follow the pattern where I can see it. And then again, I'm gonna visualize, like, so I'm drawing this line, it comes up to somewhere around here. This one's gonna go there, and that's gonna allow me to draw this next one. It just helps you to visualize. And what you can see, if you're looking just at this part, is what you end up with is essentially half a box that you're drawing, and it's just kind of turned inside the previous box. So I've got a box turned, and that's pretty much it. I'll do one more, and then I'm gonna go ahead and stop. You don't need to watch me fill in the whole rest of this space. So starting in the same corner, if you start in different corners for this pattern, I think it will vary it a little bit, make it potentially more visually interesting. It's definitely something that would be worth experimenting. So I'm starting in the same corner, coming to just inside that line, gonna draw across here, and you can see where I'm stopping. Imagining that I'm drawing the next line, which I won't see at all, and now I'm gonna imagine that this new line comes into the space. Drawing what I can see here. Same thing again, so imagining I can draw that, imagining I might see a tiny bit of that line or that corner that comes in, just from what I'm visualizing there. This one I definitely will. So if this continued over here to the edge, then I would see that line coming in. And just eventually you do get to a place where you just see the whole box that you've been trying to draw. And that's that. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you've got some tools now to go ahead to the next step of our drawing process. And I'll be sending more videos at you soon.